Originally, you were going to be tortured by me making a presentation, but fortunately, Moline Dastrup showed up, and she spoke at our leadership conference yesterday. Hopefully some of you had a chance to participate in that activity. My name is Chris Voss, and I'm an economics professor. And I first met Moline 11 years ago when she was an undergraduate student here, and she was part of the first Go Global trip to South America, visiting Chile, Brazil, and Peru. So I spent 5 intimate weeks with Moline and trying to make sure she returned in the wee hours of the morning from clubbing in Santiago, Rio, Lima, Trujillo, wherever we landed. Moline's done some extraordinary things in her life. She's part of a nonprofit group that builds schools in India, Nepal, and other places around the world. She helped start that with another USU alum, and she currently works at Google. And we're really fortunate to have Moline here today. She's going to talk about design thinking and design processes as a way to maybe think about how you engage in a proactive way in your life and think about designing your life more effectively to meet your own goals and dreams and ambitions. So, Moline, thank you for being here. The time is yours.
Thanks, Chris. That was a great introduction. I do love to dance. That is no lie. I still, even in my old ages, will go clubbing semi-regularly. So Chris did a great introduction, but I changed. I did, a pivot on him. So you're not going to learn how to improve your life or how to enrich any of your leadership skills, and that's what I talked about yesterday. But I thought maybe today it would be really, since we have a smaller group than the big event, it would be really fun to actually do half of a real design sprint. I'll tell you what a design sprint is. And so you guys came here to listen to a lecture, and that's not what you're going to do. I'm actually going to make you think. And so if you came here to just like sit down and listen, you're going to have to rewire your brain for a minute and just get in the attitude of you're going to be doing something fun. It's fun. So I guess I don't have a clicker, so we'll go through here. So we have a really busy schedule. I'm not going to go through it, but if you look at it right now, we're going to get a lot done in the next hour. So bear with me. We'll see if we can get it all done. It'll be a lot of fun. But I'm going to need everyone to, I realize I forgot my whistle, which is probably good for you guys. But I'm going to need everyone to pay attention. And then when I say stop, we have to actually stop, because we won't make it through if we don't. And you're going to have a lot of fun, and you're not going to want to stop. So first off, what is a design sprint? Has anyone in here heard of the concept of a design sprint? OK, cool. A design sprint is something that Google designed, and it is this. Oh shoot! I'm giving the wrong slides. How do I? Does anyone know how to make it go up here to different slides? Is there like a clicker or something? How do I make my slides advance? I'm making them advance on my computer, which is the wrong computer. Okay. Sorry, guys. I thought I was showing you my great slides.
There you go.
Does this work? Ah. Okay, we have it.
Right there.
I think this clicker is perfect. Yeah, okay, I got it. Let's see.
I don't think the clicker is working.
Oh, you're doing it.
I was doing it.
Okay, all right.
I can get your clicker working.
It's right over here on this side.
Is there a USB port? Thanks, Chris. So a design sprint is something that was developed by a Googler back in 2009. And the idea behind it is so when you're launching a new product, when you're building something new and you want someone to test it, and you never know how it's actually going to perform in the market. So how do you tell how it's going to perform in the market? You usually actually launch your product and see if people buy it. That can be a really long cycle, and you can waste a lot of time and energy, and your product may not even be successful. And so what Google has done is they've developed this concept of a design sprint where this loop of idea and learn. This is meant to circumpass the building and launching and accelerate this ideation and learning. And you can do rapid prototyping. Some of you may have heard that phrase rapid prototyping, where you'll build stuff with Legos or build stuff with straws and plastic and tape that's just really quick and dirty, but it helps you see what does it feel like, what does it look like, where does these different components go, and that helps you accelerate your product launch. So it can be used at the beginning of a project. Oh shoot, I'm doing the wrong one again.
This one, 'cause this isn't going to work now.
Okay, that's fine.
No, because she wants to use a whiteboard.
It can be used at the beginning of a project to define what you're going to offer. So what is your product actually going to be? Or to create a vision amongst your team, around, make sure everyone's unified on one vision. It can, if you get stuck in your product or you're stuck in the creativity space and you're not able to think creatively or think outside of the box, you can pull in a design sprint to get your team to think differently about a problem. Or simply just to speed up your development process, and that's something that we already spoke about a little bit. So there are 5 phases in the framework that we are going to talk about, or 5 phases in the framework. We're not going to go through all of them. We're going to do the first 3 today. So understand the problem, understand your users, understand the people around you so that you can actually build a product that solves a problem. 2, sketch it out. 3, decide what you're going to do. 4, prototype, and this is where you'll actually build quick and dirty solutions, and then validate that prototype. And once you've done the cycle over and over again, then you can actually start building a product and working with your manufacturers or working with your engineers to build that out, whatever it is, whether it's a new Google feature or something like Google Glass. There's 2 concepts in a design sprint that we're going to be using today: divergent thinking and convergent thinking. Does anyone know what these are? Can anyone explain the differences? Okay, well, I'm happy to explain it. So divergent thinking is when you think crazy ideas and you're thinking big and you're thinking really out of the box, things that may not even be realistic, but you're just putting everything out on the table. And then convergent thinking is when you bring that back into focus and you decide, okay, these are the things that's actually realistic for us to be able to do right now. But the point is, the divergent thinking helps you expand your mindset out of what you are currently, the silo that you're currently living in. You guys are going to experience this today. There are different sizes of sprints. Typically, they're 5-day sprints. So you'll bring in your whole team. You'll fly them in from all over the world. You'll be thinking creatively and doing all sorts of activities for a week. And hopefully, by the end of it, you have a product that you're ready to build. Or your problem is a lot solved. So it's your full product vision. We're going to do one in 45 minutes. So what do you guys think? Think we can do it? I haven't done this before, in 45 minutes. 2 hours is the shortest sprint I've ever done. Yesterday we did a fake sprint in like an hour, but I wanted to try actually doing a real sprint with you guys. So the first, they're great. Well, we'll skip that because we don't need to talk about it. So let's go ahead and try it out. I have designed a challenge. Well, I haven't designed a challenge for you. One of my coworkers has created this beautiful slide deck and designed a challenge for you, and she let me borrow it last minute last night so I could do a sprint with you guys. But the challenge is to design an app to help you conserve water. Okay? That's the challenge that you guys are all going to be working on today. So the deliverables will be a wide variety of ideas on how you can what this app might look like. And the time frame for the product launch would be somewhere in 2017. So you have about a year to launch this product. I'm going through the wrong one again. So the first step is going to be understanding your problem space. And when you're trying to understand your problem space, this is where we'll usually go in and do interviews, and we'll do we'll bring in speakers to come and present on different parts of the product. And you want to get a wide perspective of areas that this issue may touch. Not maybe even within your own company. We'll bring out external experts to talk to us about, to help us understand the issue better. And while we're doing these meetings and interviews, we write how might we statements. And this is what I'm going to ask you guys to be doing for the next probably 15 minutes, is writing how might we statements. So a how might we statement is something to help you frame how to solve, like, what problems exist. So the how assumes that there's an opportunity that exists to solve the problem. The might says that we don't have to find something. And the we is that we're going to be doing it together. Okay? So I have some examples of good how might we statements. And you're going to write this with your thick Sharpie. Or we don't have Sharpies were too expensive, and I'm cheap, so I bought you guys the cheap markers yesterday. But you're going to be writing with a marker. And the reason why you want to do it with a marker is because we're going to stick them all over the walls. So if you have a yellow marker, can you grab a darker marker? I think the yellows might be too light for people to read. But what you're going to do on these how might we statements is you want to be very clear in what you say, very succinct. You only want one idea per sticky note. If you have multiple ideas per sticky points or bullet points on sticky points, it doesn't work. Okay, just one idea per sticky point. Not too broad, not too narrow. We just make it as specific as you can. And if you don't write it down, then it can't be voted on. And we're going to vote on all these sticky notes later on. That's what your dots are for. So you need to make sure it's written down if it's an idea that you have. Here are a few examples. How might we use location to show relevant results? How might we make people happy? How might we make the buy button blue? So these are just different examples. So I'm going to do maybe 5 slides where I'm going to tell you about water, some of the water challenges with water conservation. And as I'm going through these slides, we call them rapid, I can't think of what it's called right now, but lightning talks. As I'm going through these lightning talks, you guys are going to write down your how might we statements. And anything that comes to your mind, just write it on a sticky note. And the more is great. So however many you get. If you run out of sticky notes, there's probably more somewhere. Are there more? Okay. There's more all over these tables, so just grab them from around you. Okay, you ready? Does anyone have any questions about what a how might we statement is? Okay, cool. So let's jump into the lightning talks then. So we're going to spend 6 minutes talking through different challenges. And these help you, as I said, give you that product vision, make sure that you have a shared goal, and everyone has the same understanding of what the scope of the problem is. So the first one, California drought facts. And these are going to be pretty boring. I'll warn you right now because it's just going to be facts and figures for you guys to start gathering information. So a few California drought facts. The average California family consumes 360 gallons of water per day. That is 72 5-gallon office water coolers worth of water. So that's quite a bit of water that a family is consuming. 50% of that usage is for outdoor use, watering lawns and landscapes. I don't see people writing how might we's. You want to be writing your how might we's as you're thinking through these. If you don't have any, it's fine, but you're going to need them or else it's going to be a really boring exercise. The most in-home consumption comes from toilet flushing. 18% of that usage is lost through unknown leaks. The average 10-minute shower uses 17.2 gallons of water. All right? And remember what we're developing. We're developing a water conservation app. So your how might we's want to be is how do we conserve water against these statistics. All right, for indoor household use, based on estimated statewide rate of average indoor gallon usage per household, this is a distribution of what people are using in their own households. So I don't know if you can read these very well, but the largest are certainly showers, faucets, and leaks, and then clothes washing, toilet. So those are the largest. The rest are dishwater, bath water. Those are all pretty small, actually. Some water-saving tips are to put a plastic bottle or a float booster in your toilet tank. Do you guys know what that does? That fills up your tank artificially so it's not adding extra water. You can turn the water off while you're brushing your teeth. You could reduce your shower time. Install a low flow shower heads and faucets. You could only run full loads of the dishwasher and washing machine. Or you could install a gray water system. Do people know what a gray water system is? A gray water system is what recycles, so any of your dishwater or your toilet water will go into a big pool, basically, and they'll purify all that water and they put it back into where it'll keep cycling through your shower and your faucet water. So it actually can be purified good enough to drink. It's pretty impressive. All right, so I hope you all are writing down your how might we's. There are 2 existing apps currently that are working towards water conservation. So the first one is an H2O water tracker. And this app, what it actually does is it uses a quiz format to help you understand how much water it takes to do different things. A lot of people, they just don't know how much water they're using, and they don't know how much water a shower actually takes. And so this helps them see how much water they're utilizing, and then they can track the usage that they have. And it has different tips as well that they can cycle through to help them learn how to conserve water. So this is one app that's already out there. The second app that's currently in the market is a drop counter. So this allows you to track your water usage in conjunction with your utility. So it's not gamified as much, but it's more of what you would expect of a traditional tracker. It's how much water do you use each month, more than your neighbors, less than your neighbors. So it has still that, what's your expectation of your water consumption? Do you think you have less water consumption than your neighbors? And then as you're tracking your water consumption, it will actually stack rank you against your friends. And the other cool thing about this app is it has rebates and offers that people can get if they conserve more water. So it's providing incentives for the users to be, or for the homeowners to be more conservative with their water. All right? So that's the end of our lightning talks. The next thing we're going to go into is interviews. And what we're going to do is each of you I need you guys to be in groups of, let's do 5. Is that okay? If you only have 4 will be okay, but maybe you can join this group right here. And then if you guys are participating, you guys can be a group as well. Okay, awesome. So you're going to get into groups of 5, and we're going to do interviews. So what you're going to do is one person from your group is actually going to go to another team. Okay, so you're going to swap one person from another team. And your team, every team is going to come up with a list of questions. So you're going to spend 3 minutes writing a list of questions that you can ask in your interview. And the point of this, and then the person who's being interviewed is going to act you don't have to act that much because you're all citizens and you all live in houses and you all consume water. So you're going to interview them on their water consumption to get a better understanding of how they consume water and how your app can help them consume less water. Okay, does that make sense? So you're going to spend 3 minutes writing down your questions, and then you're going to send one person from your team to another team, and then your team is going to interview the alien member, the alien person that came to your team. That makes sense? Okay, cool. So you have 3 minutes, get together as your team, and decide what questions you're going to ask. And actually, you can flip over these. We're not going to use these papers. Those are from yesterday. Just flip over and you can write your questions on the back. All right, so 3 minutes starts now. It looks like people are finished writing questions. Are you guys done writing questions? All right, let's go and, oh, you're still going? Okay, so we have 15 more seconds. So you have 15 more seconds to finish writing your questions. And you can ask interview questions on the fly as well, which is also fun. Okay, so have you guys chosen who's going to leave your team? All right, make that decision fast and send one person off into the wilds. Choose the group that they're going to go, or they can just wander to whatever group they can. You have 20 seconds to be in a different team.
We need someone to interview in our group.
Oh, come on, come join us.
So the person traveling is doing the interview?
They're going to be interviewed. Yep. Good question. All right, so you have 7 minutes. Let's do 6 minutes because we're running a little behind. 6 minutes to do your interviews, okay? And really fast, everyone, if you can listen just really fast. While you're interviewing, continue writing your how might we statements. I forgot to mention that's the most important thing. Make sure that you're still writing out those how might we's, okay? All right, go. The next phase we're going to move into is a user needs statement. Oh, I forgot this stuff. Okay, we're going to have to do this really fast. So a user needs statement is how you distill the information from your interview down into one sentence or a series of sentences that are similar to this to help you just refine what you've learned from that interview. So you can write these on your piece of paper. I'm not going to give you a ton of time to do it. You'll have 2 minutes to do one of these user statements. But the way that a user statement works is you say blank, like the username, is a blank, their characteristic, who needs a way to do something, what's their need, because they value something. So if each one of you can write down, you can do this on your own, just write down in the next 2 minutes one of those statements about the person you just interviewed. And if you can make it up based off the facts as well. You can make up a fictional character if you don't feel like you have enough information from your last user. Oh, and sorry, the person that was interviewed can go back after this exercise. You can write down your sentence right now, but oh, I guess you guys can't. Okay, no. So the person that was interviewed, you can go back to your group, and you're exempt from this activity. Cool. So the next activity that we're going to do is this is where we're going to start categorizing the sticky notes, your how might we statements as a team, and then we're going to vote on the how might we's that we think, the questions that we think are the most important to solve. Okay? So what you're going to do is, this is something that we'll usually spend 30 minutes on. We're going to spend 11 minutes on. So I'm going to have to ask you guys all to just act really fast and be super efficient. So what you're going to do is each team is going to find a wall. You can use these boards or any wall where there's space. And you're going to post up all of your how might we statements. And then with those how might we statements, you're going to read through each other's how might we statements and make sure and categorize them by things that are similar. It's pretty, you'll start to notice a lot of trends and that a lot of your how might we statements are basically the same. Once you've grouped them together by concept, then you're going to, oh, I should have this up. You're going to vote on, so affinity mapping is what we call where you're sorting them out. Sorry, I was doing it on the wrong computer again. Where you're sorting them out by different type of problem. So it could be pricing, or it could be it's their home usage, or you guys will find your patterns as you're going through your sticky notes. And then once you've mapped out your sticky notes, you're going to vote. Each person gets 3 dots. So you have this page of dots right in front of you. Each person gets 3 dots. And when you have everything mapped out, you're going to vote, and you can put all 3 dots on one idea if you think that's the best idea, or you can distribute them however you want. But you only get 3 dots, and you have to use all 3 of them. And this is how we're going to vote on the problems that you want to prioritize in your app. Okay? All right, so I'm going to give you 11 minutes to do this exercise. So let's move quickly. All right, let's have everyone go ahead and sit down. But remember your winning affinity, because you're going to use it. And then we'll move on to the next activity. We only have like 12 minutes left. So we're gonna, but I think we'll have plenty of time. We're gonna cut our next activity just slightly short, but I think we'll be okay still. So now that everyone has thought through has categorized the different ideas that you came up with your how might we statements, and you should have been able to focus in on one thing, we're going to start thinking divergently about that specific problem that you identified. So one way that we do this is this is the sketch process. And one way that we manage the sketch process is through crazy eights. And so what everyone's going to do is take one of these pieces of papers. I think one of the pages actually has 8 boxes on it. You're welcome to use, I think it's activity 3. You're welcome to use that. If you want to just fold up your thing, you can do that as well. I don't mind either way. But the idea is you need 8 rectangles. And they don't need to be perfect. They're just for yourself. So just make sure that you have your 8 rectangles. And what you're going to do is with that problem that you identified and you voted on, so your number 1 problem, you're going to sketch one idea in each rectangle that you think can solve that problem. And this is where you can think crazy, you can think really big. go for quantity. Don't worry about quality. You just want to get things on the paper. The goal is to get 8 of them in 5 minutes. So try and get beyond your initial ideas. So let's go ahead and I'll give you guys 5 minutes to do that. Oh, you know what? I actually communicated this wrong. What you should be doing is drawing out different ideas as to what your app might be able to accomplish. So it's expanding on this, but now you've identified like your number 1 priority for your app. So now you're just drawing 8 different like crazy ideas as to how you're going to make that app work. So it could be like mock-ups of your app in each one, or different features that your app is going to have. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. Sorry I wasn't that specific. All right, so the next part we're going to do now that you've drawn out your different mock-ups is we are going to present them to our teams and we're going to vote. And we're going to have to do this very fast. So we'll have, I think we have to finish in, did you say 9:55? Is that, or 9:50? 55. Okay, so we have, that clock is a little fast, 1 minute fast. So we have 5 minutes to do this. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your stickers again, and each person once again gets 3 stickers. And what you're going to do as a team is you're going to vote on the mock-up. You're going to find the mock-up that you think is the best one for your app. All right, so you're going to look at each other's. You can talk through it as fast as you can do in 5 minutes. Typically, you would have had like 30 minutes to present each other's ideas, your mock-ups, and vote. So I really apologize that I only gave you 5. I've set you up to fail on that one. But you understand the idea, right? This is how you start just getting out your ideas, start drawing designs, doing mock-ups, and seeing what starts to look good, and then you start to shape things out. The next phase in the design process, which we're not going to do today, obviously, but what we would have continued doing is, so congratulations. What you guys have done so far is you did the understanding phase and the sketch phase. Typically in a design sprint, we would continue on to further refine the visual of what this project might look like and get a better understanding of that. We'll do a lot more testing and a lot more voting, and then we'll continue on to the prototype stage. And the prototype stage would be where you might design it in Legos, or you might do like actual really nice mock-ups, or you might do a quick and dirty web solution if it's a website or whatever your problem's going to be. For this, you would do probably a quick and dirty app, just a minimum viable product. And then you'll test that, and then you launch. So, but this is really the Google design process that we use all the time. This is how we launch all of our products, and things that go to market that fail, things that go to market and succeed. Most of them had some element of a design sprint in them. And so I hope that you guys were able to capture that vision. A lot of this stuff is public on design sprints. If you do a Google search for design sprint Google, we have the steps on how to do design sprints, tons of information. There's a book called Design Sprint. It's awesome, and it walks you through the importance of design sprints and how they can help you get out of your own mind and start thinking a little bit more creatively. So thank you guys so much for your participation and for humoring me in this quick timeline.
Thanks, Moline, for being here. Small token of our
Thank
appreciation.
you. It's great.
So hopefully you get the idea that it's really awesome and cool to work for Google. If you're interested in working for Google, you can contact Moline. She can direct you to the most effective pathway to successfully launching a career at Google.
Yes.
So thank you again.
As effective as I know. So.